Good morning, everybody. This is Mrs. Costello. I'm going to be doing some of the odd answers on the review, so I'm going to be going through it. If you have already done the odd problems and you know exactly which ones you have questions on, you're more than welcome to kind of skip around in the video, but I'm going to go through all of the odds right now since that is what was assigned. So we're going to look at number one first. Number one is multiple choice, but I am going to show all my work. It wants me to solve for x. So here is x. I always put my line in, and I need to move that -5. So remember, think in opposites. So opposite of -5 is +5. +5 on each side of that boundary. And then I'm left with x on the left side equals -22 plus 5. That's something I would put in my calculator, and I would get -17, which looks like it's answer choice B over here. So I would select B. Just like your test, so that we're going to start with multiple choice and then we're going to go to free response. So I'll kind of go through that as I go. Number 3. Okay, same thing. We are still solving for x. So I'm going to put my boundary in. There's x. Now there's two things on the same side with x. There's the negative sign and there's the 3. The 3 is on the bottom of a fraction. So when it's on the bottom of a fraction, it's like dividing, right? So opposite of dividing is going to be multiplying. So I'm going to multiply by -3 on both sides so I can get rid of the negative sign and I can get rid of the 3. Then I have x equals, and then 18 times -3. I got to do that in my calculator. It's -54. So that would be answer choice A. So I would pick answer choice A on number 3. Number 5. Okay, same thing, except this time we are going to solve for y. So there's y. And there's my line. Now I'm going to have a couple different steps before I'm done on this one. I have a couple things over here. I have the 2/3. I have the -5. The -5 is not attached to the y, so I'm going to work on that first. So opposite of -5 is +5. +5. So that goes away. I'm left with 2/3y equals 7 plus 5 is 12. Now, when you have a fraction attached to your variable, you have two options. You could multiply by the reciprocal, which is your fraction flipped, or you can do it in 2 steps. Okay, I'm going to do it in 2 steps because I know a lot of my students do it in 2 steps. When we do it in 2 steps, we only focus on the bottom first. So how do I get rid of the bottom of a fraction? The bottom of the fraction is like dividing. So I'm going to multiply by 3, opposite of dividing, which is multiplying. That gets rid of those guys. And I'm left with 2y equals 12 times 3 is 36. No more fraction. That's awesome. Now, 2y, when it's together like that, it's multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. So divide by 2. Divide by 2. So y equals 36 divided by 2 is 18. And I would go over to my answer choices. Oh, and I would check 18. Now, if you're doing this on a test, you can also like plug that in to make sure that you got the right answer. Okay, I'm going to do it on this one just to show you. I'm not going to do it on all of them, but let's say you're like, okay, I got 18. I want to know if I'm right. You could plug it in where y is in your equation. So you could say 2/3 times 18 minus 5 equals 7. Then you can use your order of operations, right? Your PEMDAS. So when you multiply, remember, the whole number gets multiplied to the top on the fraction. So I would have 18 times 2, which is 36, over 3 minus 5 equals 7. I'm just checking my answer. Then D for division, right? 36 divided by 3 is 12. Minus 5 equals 7. 12 minus 5 is 7. Okay, so 7 is 7. I did it correctly. That's how you would check it if you had time on your test or you wanted to check it like while you were doing your review. That's a good way to do it. 6, 7. Okay. Last multiple choice one. And then in the next part, I'm going to kind of go over like if we were doing a test, how I would give you partial credit and stuff. So there's a lot going on. When there's a lot going on like this, we have to start with my personal checklist, right? My personal checklist, I ask you guys, is there any distributing? There is on this one, right? I need to distribute the -2 to everything inside the parentheses. Everything else is staying the same. So like 5x, haven't used that, that's staying the same. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 2 is 4. And then I haven't used that -11 on the other side yet. So I distributed. The next thing I check for is combining like terms. Are there any like terms that I need to combine that are on the same side? Yes, there are. 5x and -2x. Those guys combine to make 3x plus 4 equals -11. And then I'm solving for x still, so here's x. Now I'm going to kind of go with like normal solving for x. So I would do the -4 first because I have +4 right here. So -4 minus 4. So 3x equals -11 minus 4 is -15. And then I have 3 times x right here. Opposite of 3 times is divided by 3. Divided by 3 to get rid of that guy. So x equals -15 divided by 3 is -5. And that would be my answer on number 7. And it's still multiple choice. Looks like answer choice B. Oops. There we go. Answer choice B. And again, you can plug in -5 and you can check your answer if you want to. Those are actually the directions like on the other page, right? You have all of these and it says solve and check. So you can totally solve and check if you want to. Okay. Number 9. All right, same thing. So here is, I'm going to put my line in, right? Here's x. Oops. Hold on. There we go. There's x. Okay, I put my boundary in. So I have -11x. When they're smashed together like that, they're being multiplied. So opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide by -11. Divide by -11 on both sides. X equals negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay, so I know I'm going to have a positive answer. And 77 divided by 11 is 7. So that's going to be my answer on number 9. Okay, same thing on 11. This time I'm solving for the letter B. Right? So you always want to move what's furthest away from the B. That 4 is right next to the B. It's right under it. So, or it's under it. The 5 is next to it, so I'm going to move the +5 first. Opposite of +5 is -5 on each side. So B over 4 equals 14 minus 5 is 9. And then I need to get rid of the 4. So the 4, remember, it's on the bottom of a fraction. It's like division. Opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to do times 4 on each side. That makes that go away. And I have B equals 9 times 4 is 36. And that's going to be my answer on number 11. Again, you can plug in and check your answer if you want to. It is safer on your test. I'm not going to do it just to kind of save you guys some video time. Okay. All right, now on 13, I have a bunch of stuff going on, so I got to go through my checklist, right? Do I have distributing to do? That is a no. So no distributing, so I am going to combine some like terms. Okay, so 14c minus 8c is 6c plus 7 equals 37. Now I've got a two-step equation, just like what I did earlier. Okay, so here's where c is. I'm going to move the plus 7. So opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. So I have 6c equals 37 minus 7 is 30. Now when I have 6c, remember that's multiplication when they're right next to each other. So to get rid of the multiplication, I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides. So c equals 30 divided by 6 is 5. And that's my answer. C is going to equal 5 on number 13. All right, on number 15, yes, there's decimals, but you have your calculator, so it's okay. You have to be really careful on number 15, though, because you have V over here and V over here, and we haven't done one like this yet, okay? Remember that your goal is to get numbers on one side, letters on the other side. I know that my trick is to usually move the smaller variable, but right here, this one's your smaller variable, negative 8.3. If I move it, then you have letters and numbers on the same side, so that's not going to work. So I'm actually going to move this one instead right now. Okay, so opposite of negative 5.7 is positive 5.7v, positive 5.7v. So on the left side, I have negative 44.2 equals, and then negative 8.3 and 5.7v. I got to do that in my calculator real quick. Negative 2.6v. All right. Now, here's where v is. Okay. So it's being multiplied, right, with the 2.6. So opposite of multiply is divide. Divide by negative 2.6. Divide by negative 2.6. So 44, I gotta do that in my calculator too, 0.2 divided by 2.6 is 17. So even though, like, I started with decimals, I still got a pretty nice answer. And I was able to do that in my calculator, so not a big deal on that one. Okay, word problems. So, to become a member of an ice skating rink, you have to pay a $30 membership fee. Okay, that's pretty important, so I'm going to highlight that. The cost of admission to the rink is $5 for members. So since I highlighted $30 membership fee in green, I'm going to also highlight $5 in green because it goes with the same thing. And then $7 for non-members. After how many visits to the rink is the total cost for members, including the membership fee? So cost for members, including the membership fee, the same as the cost for non-members. So what we have to do is, we got a lot of information right here, right? We're trying to figure out, okay, is it worth it to get this membership fee or not? Okay. So let's think about when you have your membership. So that green part, you pay $30 no matter what. That $30 is going to be just a one-time fee for your membership. Then you have to pay per time you go to the rink. Okay, I don't know how many times I'm going to go to the rink off the top, like just, off the top of my head. So I have to put a variable with that, but I do know it's going to be $5 every single time I go to the rink. I'm going to use X for the visits. You can use V for visits if you want to, though. Okay, now my pink. Well, the goal is to figure out when they are the same. So the same, I'm going to put an equal sign in there. So I'm going to set my membership equal to my non-membership. The only thing I have to pay for my non-membership is $7 per visit, which is just going to be 7x. So I'm going to figure out if this is worth it, right? I need to move I need letters on one side, numbers on the other. So 5x is my smaller x. So I'm going to do minus 5x on each side. On the left side, I'm left with 30 equals 7 minus 5 is 2x. Then 2 times x, right? We're timesing, so opposite of times is divide. So divide by 2 on each side. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Okay. So after 15 visits, I am going to be paying, I'm going to kind of see the benefits of getting that membership. Okay, so 15 visits is where they meet. So if I know I'm going to go to the ice skating rink more than 15 times, I might as well get my membership, right? Save some money. All right, number 19, I need to take the sentence, make it an inequality, then I need to solve it and graph it. Okay. So, all real numbers that are greater than 2, okay, so x is greater than -2 and less than or equal to -7. Less than or equal to -7. Okay. So I realize this one, we kind of did this, we kind of didn't. We're pretty much just doing 2 inequalities, and I'll show you how to graph them. We haven't done 2 at a time yet. That was going to be day 8, which we'll do after the test, but that's okay. It's okay to still practice it. We're going to do 1 at a time. So let's look at this guy first. So x is greater than -2. So I'm going to put -2 right here on my number line. It is a greater than, so I'm going to put an open circle because there's no line, there's no or equals to. And then your inequality, that arrow is pointing to the left, or to the right. So I'm going to draw this to the right. Now let's look at the other one. So now I'm going to focus on this one right here. X is less than or equal to 7. So, or sorry, negative. Yeah, sorry, 7. I wrote -7, my bad. It's just 7. Oh, that means I messed this up too. Sorry, guys. So, again, this is something that we haven't done yet, but it's okay. We're also going to put a closed circle on 7, and the arrow's pointing to the left, so I'm going to draw it to the left. Now, you see how they meet? That's what's called a compound inequality. I'm pretty sure this is not on the test, so don't worry about it too much. But I did 2 of them at one time. We were still kind of able to practice like that graphing, so it's all good. All right, and then I have 3 more to do with you. Yeah, and they're all inequalities and they're all graphing, so that's okay. This is what's definitely going to be on the test, so we really got to pay attention on this one. So here's where z is. Z is my variable. Just like solving an equation, I am going to draw my boundary in and I'm going to solve for the variable. So on that same side with z is plus 7.7. I'm going to do the opposite of plus 7.7, which is minus 7.7. Minus 7.7. So negative 0.8 plus minus 7.7 is going to be negative 8.5, less than or equal to z. Now, the way I do it is I always make sure that my variable is first because then it's easier to graph. So I'm going to write the z first. The open to the z, so I'm going to make sure that it's still open. It still has a line underneath, and then I have negative 8.5. So first I solved it. Now I need to graph it. So I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to put a little line there and say, hey, this is negative 8.5. On negative 8.5, I do need a closed circle because it's or equals to. So closed circle, that arrow is pointing to the right, so I'm going to draw it to the right. And that's where my greater than numbers are also. Okay. So that would be the answer and the graph for 21. All right, same thing on 23. So on 23, I have my inequality. I am going to do the exact same thing that I would do if I was solving. I've got S here and S here. So I need letters on one side, numbers on the other. So I'm going to move the 6S. Even though I know that negative 4 is smaller, it's not going to help me. So I'm going to move the positive 6S. So opposite of positive 6S is negative 6S on both sides. So that goes away. Negative 4S minus 6S is negative 10S less than 1. Okay, now again, I'm getting S by itself. Negative 10 times S, that's what's happening right there. So opposite of multiply is divide. Divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10. Now be careful because I divided by a negative. So remember, when you divide by a negative, you have to flip that inequality. So S is greater than negative 1 over 10. That's going to be my answer. And now I got to graph it on a number line as well. So I'm going to draw my number line. This is negative 1 over 10. It needs an open circle, so I'm going to put an open circle there. And then I am going to draw my inequality. It's pointing to the right, so I'm going to go to the right, like this. And that's 23. All right, I got one more. 25. Okay, 25 looks tricky, but it's just a lot to do, right? Just because there's an inequality sign doesn't change anything. I'm still going to use my same checklist. So, is there distributing to do? Yes, there is. There is a 2 that I need to distribute on the right side. The left side is all good, so I'm just going to write 4p minus 3 is greater than. Then I'm going to distribute that 2. 2 times 2, p is 4p. 2 times 1 is 2. All right. So I distributed. Now I'm going to move the smaller letter. So I have 4p and 4p. It does not matter which one I move. I just need to move one of them. So I'm going to do minus 4p because that's the opposite of positive 4p. Those go away. I have negative 3 is greater than 2. Okay, so there's no letters. When there's no letters, we have to check if this is true. Is negative 3 greater than 2? It's not. Okay, so when that happens, that would make this a no solution because negative 3 will never, ever be greater than 2. Okay, so you don't have a graph for this one. So that was all the odds. If you still have questions on the odds, you're more than welcome to email me or text me. And then I will post the answers to the evens on Wednesday, so you can also go through those. Okay, have a great rest of your day.